The sun was a burning ball of orange stretching over the wide desert, casting long shadows across the sand and rocks. Ahyoka, an Apache warrior woman, moved carefully among the jagged stones. Her sharp eyes scanned the horizon, her senses alert to every sound. She had been traveling for days, carrying little more than her bow, a small knife, and her courage. Her people had taught her to survive in the harshest places, to respect the land and to never give up, no matter how hard life became. The peace of the desert was broken suddenly by the roar of hooves. A band of raiders appeared on the horizon, their figures small at first, then growing larger with each step. Ahyoka's heart beat faster, but fear did not control her. She had faced dangers before, and she knew she had to act quickly. She climbed a small hill to gain higher ground, drawing her bow and preparing to defend herself. The raiders were cruel and clever. They had weapons that glinted in the sunlight, some unlike anything Ahyoka had seen before. Metal that shone unnaturally, and strange gadgets that hummed with a soft energy. They were not ordinary men. She could feel the tension in the air as they approached. Her instincts told her this fight would not be easy. She let arrows fly, each one finding its mark with careful precision. The raiders faltered at first, surprised by her skill and courage. But they were too many, and they pressed forward relentlessly. Ahyoka fought with everything she had, using her agility to dodge their attacks and striking back whenever she could. She moved like a shadow among the rocks, silent and deadly, refusing to let herself be defeated. Then came the moment she could not avoid. One raider, larger and stronger than the rest, lunged at her with a vicious weapon. In the struggle, Ahyoka was struck down, her legs crushed under a heavy blow. Pain exploded through her body, sharp and unrelenting. She fell to the ground, unable to rise, her bow slipping from her fingers. The raiders looked at her lying there, and without a second thought, they left her to die in the scorching desert. For a moment, Ahyoka felt the darkness creep in, threatening to take her. But even in that moment, her spirit would not surrender. She remembered the teachings of her ancestors: honor, courage, and resilience. She thought of her people, the small settlements she had sworn to protect, and a spark of determination lit within her. She would not die here, not in the desert, not like this. Every movement was agony. Each breath felt like fire in her chest. Yet she forced herself to crawl, dragging her body across the hot sand and jagged rocks. The sun burned her skin, the wind bit at her face, and the desert seemed to stretch endlessly around her. Still, she refused to give up. She whispered words of encouragement to herself, remembering the strength that had carried her through countless battles. Time passed slowly, each moment stretching into hours. Hunger gnawed at her stomach, thirst cracked her lips, and exhaustion weighed heavily on her body. But Ahyoka's mind remained clear. She focused on survival, thinking about water sources, shade, and shelter. She used what little knowledge she had to find a small patch of rocks that offered minimal protection from the sun. There, she rested briefly, closing her eyes and gathering every ounce of strength she had left. Her thoughts drifted to the raiders, to the people she had defended, and to the life she wanted to continue living. She refused to let their cruelty end her story. Slowly, painstakingly, she continued her crawl, inch by inch, her determination stronger than her pain. Her hands were raw, her body trembling, but she moved forward, driven by the hope that she could survive. As the sun began to sink below the horizon, painting the sky in shades of red and purple, Ahyoka spotted something in the distance, a figure moving along a path. Her heart leapt. Was it another raider? Or could it be someone who might help her? She tried to call out, but her voice was weak, almost nothing more than a whisper. Yet the figure approached. It was a man, tall and broad-shouldered, dressed in worn clothes and a wide-brimmed hat. He moved with confidence, a steady calm in his steps, like someone who had faced danger before and survived. Ahyoka's eyes searched his face, trying to read his intentions. There was no malice in him, only concern. The man knelt beside her without hesitation, examining her injuries carefully. "Easy now," he said softly, his voice calm and reassuring. "You're going to be all right. Don't worry." Ahyoka wanted to trust him, but she had been betrayed before. Her eyes narrowed, studying him carefully. Still, there was a kindness in his movements, in the way he gently touched her arms to lift her. With his help, she was able to get into a makeshift cart he had brought along. He wrapped her in a blanket and carried her to a small camp nearby, where a fire burned softly against the cold desert night. The man introduced himself as Ethan, a traveler who explored the frontier, mapping lands and helping those in need along the way. He had seen many dangers, but never someone as brave and determined as Ayoka, using the limited supplies he carried. He cleaned her wounds as best as he could and tried to stop the bleeding. He worked carefully, understanding the importance of keeping her alive. Ayoka watched him silently, her pride and warrior spirit making it difficult to ask for help. But the pain and exhaustion were overwhelming, and she realized that she had no choice. Slowly, she allowed herself to trust him, understanding that survival sometimes required leaning on others. Night fell completely, and the desert became quiet. The wind whispered through the rocks, and the stars shone brightly above. Ayoka lay wrapped in the blanket, listening to Ethan's soft humming as he worked. She felt a small sense of peace for the first time since the attack. Despite everything, she had survived. Ethan did not stop talking to her, even though she could barely respond. He told her stories of the lands he had explored, the people he had met, and the strange machines and tools he had discovered. Slowly, Ayoka felt hope growing inside her. If this man could help her survive, maybe she could live to fight another day, to protect others, and to continue the path she had chosen as a warrior. As the first light of dawn broke over the desert, Ayoka opened her eyes. She saw Ethan adjusting strange tools beside her, working on something that looked like a pair of mechanical legs. Her heart skipped a beat. Could it be possible? Could she walk again? She wanted to scream in disbelief, but her voice was still too weak. Instead, she watched silently, awe and uncertainty filling her mind. Ethan noticed her gaze and smiled. "I know it won't be easy," he said, "but I think we can help you stand again. You're strong, stronger than you realize." Ayoka's eyes filled with tears, not of sadness, but of hope. For the first time in what felt like forever, she allowed herself to imagine a future beyond the desert. Beyond pain and fear, she realized that survival was only the first step. Now she had a chance to rise again, to reclaim her life, and to prove that the human spirit, no matter the injuries, could not be broken. She whispered quietly to herself, "I will not die here. I will survive. I will rise." And with that determination burning within her, she allowed Ethan to begin the work that might give her a second chance at life. The desert sun rose slowly, casting golden light across the rocky landscape. Ayoka lay on a blanket beside the fire, her mind alive with both pain and determination. The injuries she had suffered were severe, but for the first time in days she felt hope. Ethan, the cowboy who had found her, worked carefully beside her. Strange tools and pieces of metal were spread across the ground, forming what looked like a pair of legs, but with glowing circuits and small mechanical joints. "These will help you stand," Ethan said softly, looking up at her. "I've seen machines like this in old settlements. They can do more than just hold you up. They can give you strength." Ayoka's eyes widened. She had always relied on her body, her speed, and her skills, but now she had to trust something foreign, something mechanical, to give her strength. Skepticism mixed with hope, but her spirit would not waver. If there was a chance to walk again, she would take it. Ethan helped her into the prosthetic legs. The first attempts were difficult. Her body trembled, her muscles ached, and the pain was sharp. Every step was a struggle. But Ayoka refused to give up. She remembered the desert, the ambush, and the cruelty of the raiders. She thought of her people and the lives she could still protect. With every step she grew stronger, more determined. Hours turned into days. Ayoka practiced tirelessly. She learned how to balance, how to move quickly, and how to use the new strength the mechanical legs gave her. She ran across the rocks, jumped over small crevices, and practiced her combat moves. The desert became her training ground, the wind and sun challenging her at every turn. She began to feel a part of her old self returning, but now stronger and faster than before. Ethan watched her progress with admiration. "You're amazing," he said one evening. "Most people would have given up long ago, but you fight." Ayoka smiled faintly, sweat on her brow. "I have to fight," she said simply. "For myself, for my people, for everyone who can't fight for themselves." Word came to them that the raiders were preparing another attack, targeting a small settlement near the river. Ayoka felt a fire ignite within her. She could have stayed safe, could have remained in the camp, but she knew her duty. Her warrior heart would not allow her to ignore the danger. She turned to Ethan. "We must stop them," she said firmly. "They will hurt more people if we do nothing." Ethan nodded. "Then we fight together," he said. "I'll help you." and I'll follow your lead." Together they rode through the desert, moving carefully to avoid being seen. Ayoka's prosthetic legs allowed her to move quickly and silently. She climbed rocks, ran across open plains, and crept through valleys. Her mind was sharp, planning each step, each move, anticipating the raiders' actions. She felt alive again. More alive than ever, her determination guiding her every motion. The settlement came into view at sunset. Smoke rose gently from chimneys, and children played near the edges of town, unaware of the danger approaching. Ayoka's heart tightened. She remembered what had happened to her and refused to let it happen to anyone else. The raiders appeared soon after, riding fast and confident. They had weapons and strange machines that looked like metal animals, designed to intimidate and harm. But Ayoka was ready. She positioned herself on a high ridge overlooking the settlement. Ethan set up a few traps and barriers using the resources they had carried. Together, they prepared to defend the people below. The raiders advanced without hesitation, confident in their numbers and technology. But Ayoka was smarter. She used her knowledge of the land, combined with her new strength, to outmaneuver them. Rocks tumbled, traps were triggered, and the raiders were caught off guard. Arrows flew from her bow with precision, striking the attackers without harming innocent villagers. Ethan moved alongside her, helping with clever strategies and using his skills to redirect the raiders toward the traps. It was a dangerous dance, each move requiring careful thought and courage. The raiders were skilled, but they had not faced anyone like Ayoka before. Her determination, her quick thinking, and her enhanced abilities made her unstoppable. One raider, the same one who had struck her before, tried to confront her directly. He believed that breaking her again would end the resistance. But Ayoka was ready. She leapt with strength and agility she had never had before, landing behind him and disarming him with skillful movements. The mechanical legs made her faster, but her mind and experience guided her. The battle continued, the sun dipping below the horizon, casting shadows across the desert and settlement. Slowly, one by one, the raiders were defeated. Some fled in fear, realizing they could not overcome a human who refused to give up, who combined courage, skill, and determination. By nightfall, the settlement was safe. Smoke from the fires of battle rose in the distance, but the people were unharmed. The villagers came out, eyes wide with wonder and gratitude. They had heard stories of a warrior with unmatched courage, but seeing her now, alive and standing tall despite her injuries, they understood the truth. Ayoka had not only survived, she had triumphed. Ethan approached her, smiling but tired. "You did it," he said. "You saved them all." Ayoka looked out over the settlement, her chest heaving with exhaustion and pride. "We did it," she said. "Not just me, everyone who stood together." The villagers offered their thanks, bringing food, water, and simple gifts. But Ayoka's thoughts were already on the future. She had discovered a new strength within herself, a combination of human spirit and mechanical aid. She knew she could travel farther, help more people, and face even greater challenges. That night, as the stars shone brightly above, Ayoka and Ethan sat together by the fire. The desert was quiet again, peaceful for the first time in days. They shared stories, laughter, and plans for the road ahead. Ayoka felt a sense of belonging she had not experienced before. She realized that survival was more than just staying alive. It was about helping others, finding hope, and rising stronger after every fall. "I will continue," she said softly, looking at the horizon. "I will protect those who cannot protect themselves. I will fight no matter the danger." Ethan nodded. "And I will be with you," he said. "We'll face it together. Whatever comes next, we'll be ready." Ayoka smiled, feeling a sense of purpose stronger than ever. The desert, once a place of pain and danger, now held promise and strength. She had survived, she had adapted, and she had proven that the human spirit, even when challenged and broken, could rise again. As the fire flickered and the night deepened, Ayoka looked to the stars. She knew the road ahead would be difficult, that more dangers would come, but she was no longer afraid. She had been left for dead, and yet here she was, stronger than ever. The warrior inside her, combined with the strength of her new prosthetics and the help of a true friend, made her unstoppable. She whispered to herself, "I will rise. I will survive. I will protect those who need me." And with that promise, Ayoka stood tall, ready to face whatever challenges the future held. The desert was vast. The world was dangerous, but her courage and determination shone brighter than ever. She was no longer just a survivor. She was a warrior reborn, a symbol of hope and strength for everyone who dared to.